Air travel and sports have long shared a bond. Teams travel the skies, chasing victories and dreams, carrying the hopes of their fans. But sometimes, the journey itself takes a tragic turn, leaving a permanent scar on the world of sports. Today, we'll recount the stories of two heartbreaking football tragedies that unfolded in West Virginia, each involving a crash just before landing. Our story begins in the 1970s, a time when college football was rapidly gaining popularity. The Marshall University Thundering Herd was a team filled with promise and passion, a group of young athletes who carried the pride of their community. November 14, 1970, was supposed to be just another day in their journey, a flight home from a game against East Carolina University. But what should have been a routine return turned into a moment that forever changed college football. The Southern Airways Flight 932 was a charter jet carrying 75 people, including the team, coaches, staff, and supporters. The mood aboard was subdued but hopeful. Despite their loss in the game, the team was looking forward to returning home to their loved ones. As the plane approached Huntington Tri-State Airport in West Virginia, weather conditions began to deteriorate. Rain and low visibility made the landing challenging, but the pilots pressed on, determined to bring their passengers home. In the cockpit, the pilots relied on instruments to guide them through the thick clouds and darkness. But a combination of factors, including miscommunication and navigation errors, led the plane dangerously off course. As the pilots attempted to descend, they didn't realize how close they were to disaster. The plane collided with a hillside, just short of the runway. The impact was catastrophic, killing everyone on board. The news sent shockwaves through the nation. Marshall University, a tight-knit community, was devastated. They had lost an entire team, sons, brothers, fathers, and friends, all in an instant. In the days that followed, the small town of Huntington came together to mourn. Funerals were held, tears were shed, and the world seemed to stop. But from this unimaginable tragedy rose a story of resilience. Marshall University rebuilt its football program, vowing to honor those they had lost. The program's motto, "We are Marshall," became a rallying cry, symbolizing strength in the face of overwhelming loss. But the tragedy of Marshall University wasn't the only time West Virginia would witness such heartbreak. Fast forward to December 1, 1977. Another group of athletes, this time associated with the University of Evansville, faced a similar fate. Known as the Purple Aces, the Evansville basketball team had chartered a flight for their game schedule. Although this wasn't a football team, the parallels to the Marshall disaster were hauntingly similar. Their DC-3 aircraft had barely left the ground when mechanical issues caused it to crash shortly after takeoff in Evansville, Indiana. Although not in West Virginia, this incident echoed the loss felt years earlier. Both stories remind us of the fragile nature of life and how entire communities can be brought to their knees in the blink of an eye. West Virginia's hills and valleys, beautiful and serene, have borne witness to immense grief. These tragic crashes stand as solemn reminders of the sacrifices made by those chasing their dreams. In the years that followed, aviation safety underwent significant changes. Investigations into both crashes led to better training for pilots, improvements in navigation systems, and stricter regulations for chartered flights. But no amount of regulation can erase the memories of those lost or the pain of the families left behind. For Marshall University, the scars of 1970 remain, but so does the resilience. The football team rose from the ashes, their story immortalized in books, documentaries, and the Hollywood movie We Are Marshall. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, hope can emerge. As fans cheer for their teams, celebrate victories, and mourn defeats, these stories remind us that there's more to sports than what happens on the field. Behind every team are lives, dreams, and stories that deserve to be cherished and remembered. The hills of West Virginia remain quiet now, the echoes of those tragic nights fading with time. But for those who remember, the legacy of these football tragedies lives on, not just in the records of aviation history, but in the hearts of those who carry the memory forward. Let us never forget the young athletes, coaches, and supporters who lost their lives chasing their passion. Let their stories remind us to cherish every moment, honor those we've lost, and celebrate the resilience of the human spirit. Today, the fields in West Virginia are alive with games, cheers, and victories. But somewhere, in the silence between the plays, there's a quiet tribute to those who never made it home.